Story 1.
Aita for screaming at my girlfriend after she picked the bathroom lock while I was in the shower. Throw away because I have to admit something really embarrassing. I 20 for N just had a bad fight with my GF on a 20 for F. We met early in college, started dating 2 years ago, and then moved in together 3 months ago. I always thought we were great together.
She's smart and funny. We've had the best talks and have similar views on science and politics.
But we moved in together, and she got upset because I take long showers. I don't like to talk about it, but I'm a hairy guy. Think Luther from Umbrella Academy. I quit sports when I was 13 because I couldn't deal with what the other guys would say about how much body hair I already had by then.
So I shave my whole body, and yes, it takes a while. Anna and I have never talked about my shaving, but she has to know I shave from feeling the stubble.
So Anna started questioning why I spent so long in the shower.
I should have just told her, but I was too embarrassed to say it takes a while to shave, so I said I just like thinking in the shower.
Then yesterday, while I was in the shower, she used a screwdriver to pop the bathroom lock and caught me shaving. She put her hands on her hips and told me I was wasting water, and I yelled at her to get out. She didn't leave and lectured me more on wasting water. Then I shouted again a lot louder for her to get the fuck out. It freaked her out and she slammed the door behind her. I was mad and took a few minutes to cool down and think about what I was going to say to her. But when I got out, she had locked herself in the bedroom.
I could tell she had her back against the door and was crying.
She said I scared her and that I showed her that I wasn't the kind of man she thought I was. I told her she had scared me and that it didn't even make sense why she did it, because we don't even pay the water for our apartment. She got more upset and said I didn't even understand the problem because I showed her that I could be violent and abusive and I just needed to leave. I tried to keep calm and asked her to come out so we could actually talk about what happened.
But she just kept saying I wasn't who she thought I was and I had to leave. We've argued about ideas, but never had a fight before. And I swear I've never yelled or cursed at her before that.
I hate fighting with anyone and am normally the more calm person when our friends have things going on.
I feel like my whole world just suddenly fell out from under me.
I don't think this was my fault, but I also think none of this would have happened
if I wasn't so self-conscious about the body hair issue, or maybe if I had just been honest from the beginning and told her why I take long showers.
I'm sure this relationship is over now, and things are going to be messed up for a while. But I just want to know, am I the asshole for causing this whole mess? Relevant comment. NTA, she literally broke into your private space to lecture you. She's the one with the issues. Commenter. Exactly. Who the hell breaks into the bathroom when someone is in there and then berates them for being in there? She is insecure.
And manipulative. The way she twisted your reaction is scary.
Commenter. The scariest part for me is how she called him violent and abusive. Such a manipulative move. Commenter. Yup. He only yelled at her. She was yelling at him first. It's one rule for her and one rule for him. She's definitely trying to manipulate him. I'm 47F. And I remember trying to manipulate situations for my benefit when I was in my teens, early 20s. I stopped when I realized that I didn't like behaving like that. But unfortunately, a lot of girls are quite happy to continue this kind of behavior if they think that's how they'll get their own way. I hate it.
It's very deceptive behavior.
If she doesn't usually act this way, then there's hope. If she does, then I wouldn't just expect her to change in the near future. I hope she apologizes to you, and I think you're right. She probably does assume that you're up to no good in the shower, and that's why she broke in, to catch you at it.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
You need to confront her about it, as she's the one in the wrong. I don't understand why people aren't just honest with each other.
Communication's the key. Unfortunately, some people don't realize that until it's too late.
Good luck. Keep us posted. Another comment. Nor she's blaming you for being upset that she violated your trust and space. She is 100% the here.
OP.
I wish so much now that we could have talked about this some other way than how it happened. Commenter. While that's fair, she showed you a new side of her, and that may be a blessing in disguise. I think her saying she cannot see you the same, etc., are her trying to deflect and project onto you. If anything, you saw her ugly side, and I don't think it's something worth dealing with. You are absolutely NTA. Also worth noting, you shouldn't be ashamed or feel the need to hide your body hair. Keep doing you and shaving if that floats your boat. But if a long-term partner thinks it's weird you have to shave that much, then that's their problem, not yours. Commenter. Yeah, she has trust issues, boundary issues, control issues, victim issues, conflict resolution issues. Jude, you're young. Don't settle. Also maybe look into laser hair removal. Another comment. I don't understand. She sees you are shaving and thus have a legitimate reason to be in there, but she starts berating you for wasting water. OP. Ha, yeah, that's basically what happened. Commenter. Man, she picked a lock, ignored your boundaries, or made up some crappy excuse of why you're being naughty, accused you of being a violent abuser because you raised your voice, and she did it to try and dava you into being the bad guy. You're not. She is 10,000% in the wrong here, and you should be leaving her, while making it very clear to everyone that matters exactly why you left her. Because she is absolutely the kind of person who will go around lying about you, making herself out the victim and saying that she broke up with you because you were abusive. Tell people the truth yourself, seriously. NTA. No amount of fuzzy emotions are worth putting up with this sort of person. Commenter. If I may add to your comment, I believe that I am not entitled to see my partner's naked body. If he is behind a locked door, you always knock and wait for consent. Honestly, the audacity. Commenter. I'm thinking she was expecting to catch him masturbating and then throw a fit about how that is cheating. I'm female BTW. I'm also on the GTFO team. Being in a relationship, to me, doesn't mean you don't have a right to privacy or to masturbate if that's the big aha moment she was going for. And I'm the type of person to pee with the door wide open unless I have company that's uncomfortable with that. You know how I became the sort of person who's been living in a new house for a month and still don't know if the lock on the bathroom door works. By growing up with parents whose number one stance on kids' rights was that even children have the right to privacy. As I wrote somewhere else on Reddit, I could have left my diary open on the dining table, and all that would happen would be for me to find it closed in front of my room. My parents rarely entered without knocking, and the one time my MOM did barge in, she was met with me having sex with my BF. Her reaction? I am so sorry. I should have knocked, but I thought you were about to leave for a party. Listen, her reaction is so over the top it would scare me shitless too. I get how as a woman it's scary when you realize that a man can physically harm you if he wants to. But moving the extra step to being sure he will harm you because he's yelling at you for boundary crossing so massively, that is just signaling bad news, honestly. A knife can be a weapon and a kitchen tool. She was very fast to see you as a predator and threat, and either she's manipulating you to remove focus from her insane actions, or she's honestly scared. Neither is something you should really want to live with. As a man, you will probably always be the strongest in a relationship, and that doesn't mean that you become violent or should be seen as violent. I would hate being yelled at too, but I get why it was necessary, since she obviously wasn't going to stop her insane behavior unless you conveyed your feelings in a manner that couldn't be ignored like she did with all the previous boundaries you set, like locking the door to prevent entrance and asking her nicely to leave several times. As other points out, her overreaction here means that you'll constantly be at risk for being labeled as abusive in a he said or she said position. Is she really worth that constant fear? And how often has she crossed or ignored your boundaries until now? I put money on this not being the first time this has happened. Another comment. Op. Run while you can. This isn't normal at all. Who picks the lock of a bathroom door of all things? And the audacity of her to blame you for yelling because of being startled due to her actions. Just drop her the message that none of this would have happened if she hadn't broken into the bathroom door and invaded your privacy.
What if the situation was reversed and you broke into her bathroom while she was bathing?
The entire world would have called you an insecure psycho invading the privacy of your innocent GF. She got caught and felt embarrassed about it. Hence, she's gaslighting you and blaming you for her not-so-normal actions. Hard NTA. Don't even think there's something wrong with you. Even if she was concerned about water usage, she could have knocked while you were bathing or shaving, or waited for you to finish and had a chat like a mature adult. What you do in your shower is your business, and there's no compulsion to confess about your insecurities before you're ready. Commenter.
My partner and I will lock doors to signify that we want warning before coming in. And we have those locks you can just turn with your fingernail. But if you don't have that sort of system, by default a locked door means do not enter. Story 2. Aita for leaving my girlfriend after she got a dog. Hello, I'm 25 meters, and my girlfriend is 23F. We've been together for over a year, and we generally have a great relationship. She's funny and kind.
However, yesterday, when I got home, there was a golden retriever in our house. When I asked my girlfriend whose dog it was, she smiled and said, "Ours." I wasn't sure if she was joking or being serious, so I kept asking whose dog it was.
She kept smiling and saying, "Ours," and then proceeded to say the dog's name. I don't really remember what she said her name was since a lot was going through my mind. She even told the dog to say, "Hi Dad." I told her that she couldn't be serious right now, and she replied, "Why?" with a big smile.
I didn't say anything else and just left the house and went to a hotel. At the beginning of our relationship, I had told her that I don't like dogs and can't be in the same room with one. Even when I see one in public, I put a good distance between me and the person walking the dog. I told her if she ever wanted a pet, she would have to get a cat or something else that is not a dog.
While at the hotel, my girlfriend called me a couple of times, but I didn't answer. Then she texted me, saying that I was overreacting and that my fear of dogs is ridiculous.
She said I should at least give it a try and live with a dog for a while, and that she and the dog would help me overcome my fear.
But I never asked to overcome it, and honestly,
it never bothered me as long as there were no dogs in my house. I never got bothered by one in public because I always put a good distance between me and dogs. I have never even petted a dog before and never will.
I ignored her messages and just went to sleep, as I wanted to decide what to do when my head was clearer.
I don't want to be the guy who says it's either me or the dog. She clearly likes dogs, and I don't. So I was thinking of just breaking up with her, even though she has been amazing throughout the year. Aita for wanting to break up with her over this.
Relevant comment.
She chose the dog.
Easiest way to break it off with you. Sorry, Jude.
Commenter.
I hadn't even thought of that. You might be right.
Commenter. This happened to my brother. He was very vocal about his desire not to have a dog, so when his wife showed up with a new dog one day, he knew the marriage was over, because she knew how much he didn't want one. Commenter. Yeah, I came home from a work trip to find my then girlfriend had adopted a kitten. She knew full well I'm allergic to cats, but did it anyway. Why can't you just take medicine? She asked. Why do you get to decide whether we have a cat? I left for a few days, and when I came back the kitten was gone.
But that was one of many sneaky things she did, and no relationship worked without trust.
It was never going to work long term.
Another comment.
NT, I'm a dog lover, but if my husband said that he absolutely was terrified of dogs, I wouldn't bring one home. It's not even about the dog at this point. It's the fact that she completely disregarded your feelings or boundaries and basically expects you to suck it up. Commenter. It doesn't matter if they are both dog lovers.
They both need to decide and talk about getting any pet. Op. Your girlfriend is not a partner.
She doesn't seem to understand that on big decisions, I think it's fair to say it's the dog or me. NTA. Commenter. One year, my MOM got my dad a dog for his birthday. As a surprise, he was over the moon. Now, my parents have been together nearly 50 years and know each other quite well, so she knew that he would be happy to have literally any new pet. But my husband and I spent our entire drive home discussing how 100% unacceptable it would be to get a pet without fully discussing it first. And most importantly, both of us need to be involved in the choosing of any specific pet before it comes home. I can't believe that my own parents would do something that I find so wildly inappropriate. But everyone does love Zoe, the no longer new dog, so I guess, for Op, I would definitely leave the GF, and I am a dog lover. Another comment. NTA, even if you love dogs, she needed to discuss this with you before getting one. Commenter.
I've heard of one of my friends who called her husband randomly one afternoon and was like, "Hi, what do we think about adopting another cat?"
They already had two, and like bunnies and geckos and stuff. The husband was like, "No, we already have enough pets." And my friend was like, "Okay, well, I already adopted one. And we're on our way home." Always thought that was a bit crazy. Commenter. See, I love dogs, and I'm desperate for my partner and I to have a puppy or two together.
I'm also realistic. We both are time poor ATM, and that's just not okay to raise a puppy into.
I jokingly ask for a puppy, and he says no. He knows I'm just joking. If I came home with a puppy, he'd be upset. It's just so disrespectful to steamroll your partner. Luckily, my brother got a puppy last week, and so I'm satisfying the cravings and remembering how much work puppies are lol. Another comment. NTA. Even if you didn't have a fear of dogs at all, she had no right to make such a huge decision for your household without even talking to you about it. This adds a huge layer of responsibility to you both.
And since she knew it was a hard limit for you and did it anyway, I don't see where she found the audacity.
You're not making her choose between you and the dog. You're asking her respect your long-established boundary and fix the mistake she made. Commenter. If she feels comfortable making unilateral decisions on this, she'll do it again on other things.
Hey, I just signed a lease for us on a new apartment.
Don't be silly. You don't need to see it first. You'll love it.
Oh, hey, I just got pregnant.
Yes, I went of birth control 3 months ago. Don't be silly. You'll love the baby. Commenter.
Oh, hey, I just invited my aunt to move into our house because she did not have a place to stay. When you get mad at her for not even consulting you, quit being controlling.
Another comment. No, you're not. She is blatantly ignoring your fear, telling you to get over it when you're not ready. This is likely the first of soon to be many boundary-breaking moments in your relationship. Leave now. Commenter. It's not even the fear thing. Getting a dog is a major life decision that is going to impact them for the next 10 to 15 years. That isn't something to do on a whim. It was extremely irresponsible and thoughtless to put a dog in their place without asking him. Fear or no fear, she showed a lot of disrespect. Commenter. It's not fair on the dog either. A dog lover would be concerned about the welfare of the dog, and getting one on a whim is not doing that. Also, the dog will be aware that Ob does not like it, and so she's also forced the dog to live in an unpleasant household. She's being majorly selfish, and isn't mature enough to own a pet. Commenter. Yes, the Op's girlfriend does not actually like dogs, or she wouldn't do this.
It's utterly selfish of her regarding her partner, and also it's very cruel to take a dog into an insecure environment. And a home where one person does not like dogs is an insecure environment for the dog.
Story 3. He cheated on me after all I have done for him with the work wife he told me not to worry about.
Now I will F his best friend and his brother. I helped him get through school and start his dream job. I was there for him for years, working and providing for us, cleaning and making him food so he could concentrate on his dream.
He told me he loved me and that I am the best thing that ever happened to him, and I believed him.
I am the most beautiful girl and the best sex, and I believed him.
Then I met her and I endured her passive-aggressive, patronizing comments about me. He told me not to worry. She was nothing. She was just a buddy he got along with at work. He didn't even find her attractive. She was one of the guys. Friday, he came home very late. He usually never comes late after an evening at the bar with his colleagues, but I didn't find it odd.
Even that he left my going to bed. Love you message on read without answering didn't set my alarms. I just thought he was probably with his friends and didn't want to be rude texting. He didn't kiss me or say anything. Took a long shower and mumbled that he was tired and turned his back on me. He never does that. He always crawls up beside me and starts kissing and hugging me when I am in bed, and he falls asleep, wrapped around me. He looked like a zombie yesterday and didn't say anything more than that he loved me and how lucky he was to have me. He blamed his mood on being hangover. He went to bed early, and I noticed his phone wasn't on the side table. I looked for it, and he had left it in his raincoat.
She had texted him multiple times about the night they spent together and how she hoped.
I didn't notice how worn down he was because of it, and how she couldn't stop thinking about the sex and how her pussy wanted to be wrapped around him right now. That bitch told me he loved me, and I believed him, and this is what he did with my heart. With the woman he knew hated me, and I didn't trust. I will get back at him in the most hurtful way. I will sleep with his best friend who he's known since kindergarten, and his brother. I will ruin him. Just wait and see, dear Fionk.
Relevant comment.
Girl, just leave him. You've wasted years on this guy, and now you're just putting more effort into him through this whole plan. I'd have texted the girl back saying she knows everything and is leaving me. I'm all yours. Put the phone back in the pocket for him to find later. Then just collect all your shit and ghost. He doesn't deserve your anger or your time. Commenter. Also, you can make him hurt by leaving and living your best life. The pain of seeing you happier without him will be a total gut punch, whereas sleeping with his mate or brother will just give him a reason to hate you, and in the end will allow him closure to move on from you that much easier.
Commenter.
Yes, and ghost him. Literally just pack up and don't even say anything and leave. He should figure it out why you left. And that is the sweetest revenge, because you can now go and enjoy your life, knowing you can't trust him after everything you've done for him. Another comment. You know what hurts cheaters the most?
It's knowing they just lost someone amazing by fucking around.
You will live in their heads rent-free for the rest of their lives if you do something to taint that the one that got away fantasy, like hooking up with his brother and best friend. Then to him, you will probably be just some woman who deserved to be cheated on, and he will go on living his life guilt-free. Your revenge is not the revenge you think it is. Play the long game. Be the perfect girlfriend for a week. Make him fall in love with you even more. Then just one day disappear and block him everywhere and never talk to him again. Don't give any explanations. This will mess with his head. Commenter. That, and what if the brother and best friend decline to sleep with her after throwing herself at them? She is going to just feel worthless. Even if they don't decline, she might just end up feeling used, and it still won't make the hurt go away.
It's a high-risk, low-reward strategy.
Another comment. If you want to hurt him, pretend you are not hurt. Become the coldest, non-involved woman you can be. Let him know you know. Let him constantly wonder what your next move will be. Play chess, not checkers. Commenter. Absolutely solid advice. He would be utterly devastated. I can understand how angry you must feel right now. But the best thing for yourself is to leave him immediately. Ghost him. Don't even let him explain. They both deserve each other. You deserve the best in the world, and you will find it. Story 4.
Aita for reporting my wife for bringing me snacks in the hospital. I am 32 and male. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with binge eating disorder.
To put it simply, I eat compulsively even when not hungry. My BMI is 43, putting me in the class 3 obesity range. Since my diagnosis, I have not improved whatsoever.
Therapy and support groups have a positive effect on my mentality, but even 2 hours after I'll be in line at a drive-thru.
It has affected my health, my mental health, my finances, and of course my wife. My wife is 37. She is average-sized and eventually agreed that I may need actual medical intervention. After a lot of deliberation, we packed up and temporarily moved states so I could participate in an inpatient program as part of a research study. Apparently, intervention programs for bed can be pretty hit or miss, and so this one is a new take on them, being 6 months instead of the typical 30 to 90 days. I am currently at the end of my first month, and everything is going very well. I've made a lot of friends in the program as well. At the end of the 1-month mark, visitation opened up and my wife could now visit me. Obviously, she jumped at the chance and came to visit me 2 days ago. We headed over to my room, where she took her backpack off and pulled out jalapeno chips and colas, 2 of my most common binge items. At first, I freaked out, but she explained that I deserved a break and went into detail about how much trouble she went through to smuggle them through. I immediately shouted for a nurse who forcefully removed the products from her hands and then escorted her out of the hospital with a full team. My wife has now been completely banned from the premises, and she's furious at me. The nurses and doctors have expressed nothing but gratitude and told me that had I indulged, I would have instantly been removed from the program. One thing that my wife said that made me think she had a point was instead of telling her to put the snacks away and take them home, I went for the nuclear option of calling other people. I know that her bringing me snacks was objectively wrong, but was my reaction over the top? Relevant comment.
NTA. I would be a huge asshole if I brought over a drink to someone in rehab for alcohol abuse. Your wife is a massive one.
Commenter.
Wife is an enabler and on some level wants Op to stay fat, sick, and addicted.
Sabotaging his recovery is low. Op is going to have to choose between his health and his marriage before this is over. Commenter.
I believe so too because she eventually agreed to him taking medication and the smuggled goods.
I would think she would be the one suggesting the medication, that she would want her husband healthy, that she'd want him to be able to have a healthy relationship with food, stable mentally. She wants him to stay as he was. She needs help too.
Another comment.
NTA.
If she went through the troubles to smuggle their triggers to an addict in recovery and says, "You deserve a break," just saying nicely no won't work. Panicking and having her removed by the security was the best option, as she clearly wouldn't be the one stopping herself from bringing their triggers to an addict.
And I would be very cautious when you go out of the program.
If she is trying to sabotage you while you are in your program, chances are she would try the same after you got home.
She need to be educated or educate herself about how to live with an addict and what to do and what to avoid, elsewhere you won't be able to get out of your addiction. Commenter. NTA. This is so true.
Op, you are essentially an addict, and she was attempting to enable you to relapse.
This is such a serious issue for you to have, and you seem to be at a point where you are making real change. For her to act like it's no big deal is minimizing the challenge you are dealing with. My boyfriend is a recovering alcoholic. I would never bring him alcohol or even put him in a situation where we are around heavy drinking.
I can't even imagine suggesting he needs a break from sobriety. I have also basically stopped drinking because I want to support him so much, never really cared for it anyways.
You guys definitely need to have a big conversation about this. She needs to realize how serious this is for you if she doesn't already. Food addiction or bed is extremely hard because we can't just stop eating. This will be years of hard work and she needs to get on the train now.
Also, as someone who struggles with food and my weight myself, I just wanted to say good for you for doing the work. This shit isn't easy, and it seems like you really are going for it. You are already making so much progress seeing as you refused her.
Congrats on that win, even if it doesn't feel like a win due to the circumstances.
Another comment. As someone who has recently been on a program for bed myself, I would say you are NTA.
You are discovering that family, even though we love them to pieces, can be enablers too. You sound like it's working for you.
That's brilliant. Enablers come in all sizes, shapes, and even our loved ones can be enablers too. Maybe there is behavior she needs to address for herself as to why she wanted to bring you trigger foods.
Maybe she's scared she'll lose you if you lose weight. Maybe she feels you won't need her anymore, so she's trying to keep some sort of dependence going.
Only you can answer that, really, and it's something she might need to address via therapy. Good luck with everything. Much love and respect to you from someone who knows something of what you're going through. Another comment.
NTA, you were freaked out and decided to do what popped into mind to get rid of the temptation. Congratulations on resisting, by the way. Was there a better way to handle things? Possibly. I'm not even sure that her suggestion was better, because there was a decent chance that after a little while you'd have caved and asked her to take them out of the pack and give them to you.
You went with a choice that ensured that you wouldn't give in to the temptation.
Also, even if there was a better solution, I don't think you can be blamed for not finding it.
Because with the same logic, your wife could have been blamed for the poor choice to smuggle in snacks. And that was a decision that she landed on after thinking about it without stress.
Commenter. If the wife go through the trouble of smuggling forbidden foods, I don't trust her to stop tempting Op if he just says no one time. And even if she stops bringing them to his mind, just being in the same room for a long period of times as some of his triggers food increase the risk he would cave in and eat them. Commenter.
Honestly, it sounds like the wife has feederism or fat fetish and is actively sabotaging OP's weight loss journey. She had to eventually agree that Op needed intervention or help with his weight.
Might be a little extreme take, and she could just be wanting to brighten OP's day as a treat, but equally, she could be doing this on purpose, and I'd worry about OP's weight loss journey after he leaves the rehab center. Like, who's to say the wife won't continue?
Story 5.
Aita for refusing to help my cheating little sister.
Back when I was 10 years old, my mom cheated on my dad with his then best friend, which led them to have a nasty divorce. My mom almost immediately after finalizing it went and married the guy, which drove my dad into huge depression and ultimately suicide. I was the one who found him after I came home from school at 12 years old. This sight traumatized me for years to come and has made me despise
my mom and the idea of cheating and any chitter. Fast forward 14 years later, and my little sister's husband found dozens of videos and pictures of her with multiple different guys, including some of his and my friends. And that led to them having a huge fight where he ended up throwing her out of his house. And so she came running back to me for me to take her in, and I refused. She called me a huge asshole, and I told her to shut both her mouth
and legs up and to go to mom and let her deal with this, since she knows a thing or two about cheating. And she left. Now her husband has filed for divorce, and I fully support him. I have absolutely no sympathy for cheaters, and that includes my own sister. Relevant comment.
Good on you for that. Your sister sucks. Your mom sucks, and you were right to not help her. She made her own choices even after your mother and father's history. So knowing that, you shouldn't help her when it's obvious you would have someone you will hate living with you. She reopened your old wounds by cheating like she did. You did everyone a favor here by refusing her.
OP. Exactly. Not only did she know about how much I despise cheating and cheaters, but she cheated on her husband with my friends, which I saw as personal disrespect to me and her husband.
She also slept with his best friend, who was his best man at their wedding, so she is just despicable to me now.
Another comment. My sister cheated and I refused to help her. I help her children and provide a safe place for them. But her, no, I'm also still in a good place with my former brother-in-law. He's still my family.
Definitely NTA.
I cannot imagine how traumatizing that was to find your dad.
I am so very sorry. Commenter.
Asking out of curiosity, how does that look? Will you have her kids over but not her?
Commenter. No, I still include her in family events.
She is their mother, and I don't want them to be excluded or feel obligated to not come because she is not invited.
We just don't really have a relationship, and I do not go out of my way to do things for her or let her do for me. We used to be super close and it's heartbreaking.
I just can't trust her.
I'm not mean, but I'm indifferent.
Another comment.
I'm sorry you're in this position. I was in a similar position several years ago.
My sibling would even leave their kid alone for easily a week at a time with their very depressed and suicidal partner while they cheated. Didn't even try to hide it. I'm not saying anybody needs to stay in a relationship they're unhappy in, but there's a way to do things, and cheating and putting your kid in physical risk is not the way to do it. Story 6.
Aita for buying my boyfriend a thong.
I have 26, don't know if it extends to a fetish, but my boyfriend's M26 biggest turn on is when I wear a thong. He gets very excited when I wear them, says how good I look, cups my butt when we lie next to each other, while playing with the material.
I generally don't have a problem with it, and I like the compliments he dishes out.
However, I admittedly do find thongs uncomfortable and would prefer to wear full-cut briefs.
When we had sex the other day, he seemed disappointed that I wasn't wearing a thong, and I said I wouldn't wear one every time. He seemed to accept this, but when we were lying next to each other that night, he said how good I looked in one again. I went online and decided to buy a male thong for him, so he could experience wearing one and feel the discomfort levels.
When he came home from work, I texted that I had a surprise for him.
He was obviously excited, and when he got home, I gave him the thong, which I'd wrapped up in gift paper.
When he opened it, his face dropped.
He asked why I'd bought him this, and I just explained that maybe he should experience wearing a thong every day so he knows what it's like.
He immediately got cold and said he hadn't pushed me to wear one, just expressed a preference, and I was trying to make him feel humiliated about the turn-ons he has.
I tried to talk to him, but he's clearly still annoyed.
I spoke to two friends.
One found it hilarious, while the other thought it was unnecessary, especially because it's not exactly a weird fetish.
Relevant comment.
This is a communication problem. He is feeling shamed by her. She is feeling unheard by him.
Time for lots of I statements. Him, I feel like you're mocking a thing that turns me on. I thought I was complimenting you and initiating play. You, I like turning you on. But I find wearing a thong uncomfortable, and I've felt unheard when I've mentioned it.
I thought that if you tried wearing one, you could empathize with my discomfort. Notice the lack of "you aren't listening." You can also state what you've heard your partner say before going to your I statements.
I'm hearing you say that you feel shamed. That's not my intention. Then validate his feelings if you feel that way. I enjoy wearing a thong for you.
I like the attention it brings out in you. Again, don't placate by saying things you don't feel.
But I find them too uncomfortable to wear often. Another comment. Was it just this one time that he was a bit more vocal about his preferences? Or is he like this all the time?
Commenter.
Also, was she vocal about how uncomfortable a thong is to him before?
If the first time she expressed that they are uncomfortable is by doing this elaborate setup and going, "Let's see how you like it," then she very much is tar. Commenter.
But I mean, it's a piece of string that goes between your butt cheeks, and she said she wouldn't wear one every time. I should hope he can imagine it might not be her favorite thing to wear. I do agree that this was a bit much if he wasn't that pushy about it though.
Commenter. TBH, I personally prefer thongs. As long as they're the right material and fit well, I generally find them to be the most comfortable underwear option.
That being said, it's not rare that I choose to wear a boy short or brief. I do like those too, depending on my mood.
My BF's favorite style for me to wear is a thong, but he doesn't tell me that when I'm not wearing a thong. He thinks I look sexy in boy shorts too. This is stupid. Commenter.
I think there was a thread recently about thongs, and the general consensus was that the size of the wearer's butt crack is related to how comfortable a thong is, and b.
G-strings are not comfortable for long-term wear for anyone since they're just right on the anus, and often not a nice fabric. Stretchable cotton was where it was at for us butt flossers.
Another comment.
I guess I just don't understand the point of doing this. It doesn't seem like from what you wrote that he's relentlessly nagging you about wearing a thong.
It's just something he likes. And again, from what you wrote, it doesn't seem like you even told him how uncomfortable you find them. Just that you wouldn't wear them all the time, which he accepted.
I know this probably seems like a small thing, but people are weird
about preferences like this.
Now he's going to be embarrassed about a really mild and common thing. The whole thing just seems really unnecessary, edited to fix a word. Commenter. Yeah, this kind of reaction can be mildly appropriate, but it doesn't seem like it was necessary.
She just wanted to pick on him for a really common and understandable kink. Then she told her friends, which is a bit of an arm move because he did nothing wrong, and she is blowing it out of proportion. Why do so many people seem to think it is a problem to do something to turn on your partner? I love it when my fiancé wears sexy things, and I like wearing sexy things for him. Even if they aren't always comfy, it's for sex. Uncomfortable things can be taken off before sleep.
Story 7. Aita. My husband pans me while I was changing our baby's diaper, and I asked him to never do that again. Not a long story here.
IF32 was changing our baby's diaper when my husband M37 snuck up behind me and pulled my pants down, just the pants. Not the underwear. He wanted me to include this part. He did it to make me laugh. I elbowed him and yelled at him.
I apologized for elbowing him. It was just a reaction.
I asked him to never do it again, and now he won't agree and keeps laughing.
He says I'm overreacting, but I'm really just asking him not to do again, and I'm worried he's going to do it all the time now. He says he'll stop if the internet agrees with me, but he is confident you will all think he's hilarious. I really don't want to deal
with this anymore. Please just say it's funny once but not again. Update.
You guys really need to chill, lol. I'm not going to divorce my husband because he made a joke that didn't land. That's not how marriage works.
In an ironic twist, I have decided we are now a pantsing house.
I will pants him as often as humanly possible, and I will be wearing dresses to make myself invincible. Thanks for the terrible advice, although I do agree that no means no. I just don't think it's that deep here. My husband is a really good guy and is genuinely hilarious, making the whole family laugh. So I'm going to let him do his thing. Second update. So I turned off my notifications like 10,000 ago. From what I can tell, it's basically all the same stuff. Calling my husband immature or a creep, and then me a doormat for siding with him after reading your unhinged comments and realizing I wanted to be on the side of sanity. Kudos to the people who are like, hey, glad you guys can have a good time, because we do. We always do, because we are happily married, and we love each other, and we like to joke around being married for 11 years. I highly encourage you all to laugh at your partner's jokes, and if you don't think it's funny, just tell them to stop, and they will listen to you if they're the right person. Like my husband is for me. Find someone who makes you laugh and likes to have fun, and don't squash their joy by being a stuck-up hole.
You'll be happier if you lighten up, and so will they.
Thank for everyone who genuinely cared about my well-being. I really worded my post to make it sound like I didn't also think it was funny.
To be fair, I was laughing while I posted this and didn't think anyone would respond.
But thanks anyway. You've got a good heart.
So have a good life, everyone.
I doubt I'll ever get on this cursed app again. And please, for the love of all that is holy, never ask strangers on the internet for their 2 cents on your relationship. It's entertaining for like an hour, but you start to lose your faith in humanity.
Relevant comment. Regardless of how funny or innocent he thinks it is, you asked him not to do it again. So he needs to respect that. I had an ex who thought it was hilarious to tickle me because I hated it so much.
He would be relentless about it to the point that I would nearly piss myself. I would yell at him and scratch him to get him to stop.
And he would get furious with me for attacking him for doing something he thought was fun that I asked him repeatedly not to do.
Which is fucking insane.
Commenter.
I peed on my stepdad when I was 8 for tickling me.
I had told him to stop repeatedly, and he continued, so I let loose while making direct eye contact. He hasn't tickled me in 43 years.
Another comment.
I mean, if you asked him not to do it, he shouldn't. NTA.
I've done things that I thought were okay, but my partner at the time told me never to do it again.
I never did it again. No further discussion needed.
Once I saw that it upset her, I understood that it wasn't okay. I think doing it once if you think it's innocent or funny or whatever is generally okay, depending on what it is. But once your partner says it's not acceptable, not okay, and to never do it again, that's when you stop laughing and acting like it was a joke. That's when you listen.
Commenter.
Same here.
I was making fun of an ex-boyfriend's Elton John record by singing Benny and the Jets because I hate that song. But ex asked me not to make fun of his music he liked. So guess what? I didn't do it anymore.
I still hate Benny and the Jets.
Why does that song even exist?
Another comment.
Husband.
Why would you listen to internet strangers over your wife?
She is your life partner, the one you chose to marry.
But you don't value her own personal boundaries? You think internet strangers have more rights to decide your wife's personal boundaries? When you're talking about whether your wife has a right to not be stripped half naked for giggles, learn to respect your wife and go pants a friend who does find it funny.
Commenter.
At 37, he probably doesn't have friends who think it's funny either.
Commenter.
Can confirm.
My dad did shit like this into his 40s.
Did not have friends.
Got divorced over it because it got to the point that his wife would cry in the shower. He got so fake offended that his CO workers nearly beat the shit out of him for pulling pranks in the workplace.
Welding, not an office. Since I figure people would assume that. Edit. I forgot a real knee slapper.
Got genuinely pissed when I didn't laugh at him making a racist remark at a black man crossing the street as he sped up, making to hit him. Guess why we're no contact.
Another comment. He says he did it to make you laugh.
But you didn't laugh.
In fact, you were upset.
But now he says it doesn't matter. So he lied because he did it for himself. Pantsing someone is about humiliating the person being pants to make other people laugh at them.
No one enjoys being pants even in the privacy of their own home. Plus, don't mess with MOMS while they are taking care of their babies or children.
Seriously, why do our husbands keep doing this for jokes? He is 37. It is time to grow up.
Commenter.
This is the thing for me. Funny or not. IMO. She was changing the baby.
I don't see the baby's age, but I've worked daycare and changed a ton of babies, and the last thing I want to have to deal with is trying to pull my pants up with one hand while keeping the other hand on a squirming, rolling, kicking infant up on a changing table. And I only change from the side so my body blocks any sideways rolls.
Also, so I'm not directly in the danger zone should the kid decide they aren't unusing their diaper even though it's off. And so I can use my forearm to help hold the kid steady while lifting the feet with that hand.
And so I'm face to face with them more closely to interact with them. Babies roll unexpectedly. They flail and move and kick and wriggle. I don't want to be dealing with a laughing prankster and having my pants around my knees while trying to manage a dirty diaper and a squirming baby on an elevated surface. He's lucky he just got an elbow.
He might well have got a poop diaper to the face.
Another comment. And here, whilst you were changing your baby, I'm not sure how funny people in general find this forcible pulling down of other people's clothes as a joke. I assumed no one but teens and YouTubers did it.
It's very much not cool or funny.
I really would expect an adult to know that without needing Reddit to tell him. I find it odd to begin with, but whilst you are changing your baby seems doubly stupid to me. Guess that was your husband's way of volunteering to be the sole parent responsible for nappy diaper changes from now on. Commenter. Yeah, for me this is what would make me really angry if I'm changing the baby and suddenly have a reflex to pull up my own pants. What if the baby rolls or something? Doing something like that would really make me mad at my husband's judgment. Like the same thing if you were pantsed while holding boiling water or something. It's just stupid. Story 8. Aita for slapping a woman that was protecting my baby. Hello, everyone. My wife asked me to help make her post more clear. First, I want to thank everyone for the comments and the love shown for my brother-in-law. I am going to write the story from mine and her point of view. Also fake names for everyone involved. I 31 meters Tim and my wife 29F Ashley welcome our healthy baby boy Ned into the world 6 months ago. Her brother Mike is at 24 meters with special needs. He has had many medical issues since birth and is different than most people.
However, he is the kindest and most fun person to be around, especially when he is talking about sports.
When Ned was born, Mike was very hesitant in holding him, but was very curious about him. This last month, Mike actually wanted to hold Ned. My wife and I were thrilled.
We do have rules
In place for him holding Ned, but Mike likes the rules. Mike needs to be sitting down and my wife, Mike's parents, or I need to be around. This is mainly in case Ned gets fussy. We can take him from Mike so he doesn't get overwhelmed. A week ago, Ashley's cousin Don's daughter Lily graduated high school and was throwing a party with her best friend Anna. We know both of the girls and wanted to go celebrate with them. Mike wanted to come, but his parents didn't, which was totally fine, and we brought him.
Ashley was on an outdoor patio couch talking with Don while I had Ned. I was talking to a co-worker that happened to be a friend of Anna's family.
Mike came up and asked to hold Ned, which we went over to Ashley, and he sat down. I gave Ned to Mike and asked Ashley if she needed a water since I was going to grab a beer from our cooler. I went to get the drink and was talking with my coworker when a woman Karen started screeching saying, "He shouldn't be touching that baby. We live in a place heavily influenced by certain religions." And she was saying how someone like Mike shouldn't be holding babies. She was screaming that Mike would drop Ned and hurt him, and how is everyone just ignoring it? Ashley asked the woman to stop yelling and stood up, standing in the view of the Karen for Mike. She was telling Mike he was fun, but the woman kept screaming that he was going to hurt Ned. This got Mike flustered, in turn made Ned start to cry. Ashley took Ned from Mike, who instantly was covering his ears. I started heading towards them when Ashley was asking the woman to stop and leave them alone. Karen responded with, "How could a mother let an abomination from God hold onto an innocent baby? He's going to hurt the baby now and in the future." As she is yelling, she was getting closer to my wife and pointing at Mike over and over. Before I reached her, my wife turned and slapped the woman across the face.
Karen stopped yelling for a moment, and I came up and took Ned from Ashley.
Some man came over and grabbed the Karen, who was freaking out that Ashley had hit her. Ashley told Karen if she keeps yelling that she would give her a black eye to go with the handprint on her face.
Don was able to help get the Karen away from us.
Ashley had to lift Mike off of the couch and guide him to the car so we could leave. I grabbed Ned's stuff and went to the car where Mike was crying and apologizing for hurting Ned. Ashley was crying and telling him he did nothing wrong. I drove to my in-laws and told them everything.
Mike was able to get into a therapist the next day and has been going every day.
In the middle of the week, my wife went to talk with Lily and Anna happened to be there as well. Ashley felt bad that their party got ruined and Anna was apologizing that her aunt did that. Ashley had gotten the girls' massage certificates to apologize and help them celebrate going into college. Anna tried not to take it, but my wife insisted. It wasn't Anna's fault that the adult Karen acted the way she did.
Currently, Mike is still going to therapy, but the therapist said an event like this can take some time.
He will come around Ned and is happy to see him, but won't ask to hold him. If you ask Mike to hold Ned, he will quickly say no and leave the room.
Taking some commenters' advice, we are going to try just hanging out with Mike on a blanket on the floor with Ned to see if it helps him be more comfortable.
Karen has found Ashley on social media and has messaged her along with some friends and family. From what I gathered, she is only telling people she was protecting the baby, and my wife hit her for no reason.
She has threatened to sue, but as of today hasn't done anything.
I work with a lawyer who has put me in touch with one that is willing to represent
my wife if it ever comes to that.
Fingers crossed that Mike will be comfortable to soon hold his nephew.
We will also try to update if things change. My wife vented to one of her friends in her mommy and me class that ended up telling everyone what happened. All of the MOMs say my wife went too far when striking the woman.
That has made my wife wonder if her protective instincts were too much.
She was worried for her child and brother's safety and didn't want to give Karen the chance to get physical. I hope this makes more sense for people and thank you for all the loving comments so far. Relevant comment.
An abomination. She said your SN brother was an abomination.
Holy crapola. I might put her face on the barbecue grill. I can't believe you didn't give her a knuckle sandwich.
You IMTA.
Also, I hope your brother was okay, and that he still likes to hold the baby sometimes.
Commenter. Seriously, I am not a violent person and often think slapping someone is rarely necessary.
But as a MOM of a special needs son, please give me this woman's address. I'll slap her too. She deserved more.
Commenter. I'll be right behind you in the giving that rancid wench another slap for good measure Q. Judging by the comments, it's going to be miles long and people are going to rejoin it after the initial slap just to make sure.
Another comment.
Absolutely NTA. And you did not go too far. She was not protecting your baby. She was attacking your brother. Unprovoked. She deserved a black eye.
I'm sad she didn't get it.
Commenter.
And putting the baby in potential danger by aggravating the brother. I'm not saying the brother would harm the baby deliberately or anything like that, but if he had bolted or something.
This is why they always have an adult present when he holds the baby.
This woman endangered a child because she's hateful and prejudiced.
Commenter.
Even if this woman is dumb enough to believe that no person with special needs should ever hold a baby, there's still no point in screaming, pointing, and throwing a tantrum while someone with special needs is holding a baby.
What? Did she think the baby would levitate out of his arms and into safety because of her tantrum? Seems a hell of a lot more likely that she'd spook everyone and put the baby in actual danger. But my guess is her goal was more to shame Op's brother and Op for daring to let her brother hold her baby.
Op, I'm sorry this happened to your family, and I think you handled it as well as a realistic human could. Please let your brother know that there are tons of people who heard about this and think this baby is so lucky to have such an awesome uncle in their life. Another comment.
NTA, you were protecting your family. If anything approaching your brother the way she did, that was putting the baby in danger. If you, the mother sitting right next to him saying it's okay, then it's okay.
I do believe you were in the wrong for apologizing at all to that mother, because she now probably thinks what she did was okay, when it clearly wasn't. She had no right to assume what was going on in his head.
Majority of the sick thoughts come from the ones who look completely normal and inviting, but good job mamas for protecting and standing up for your family.
OP. Sorry, I should have made it more clear.
I only apologized to the girls and their parents because I felt like it ruined their celebration. I am not going to apologize to the aunt for slapping her. I feel like she deserved it. Commenter. Okay, that valid since it was their event.
But anyone who says you were in the wrong, drop them. You have other family and friends that support, and that's all you need. Another comment.
What a horrible CT of a woman.
How dare she start screaming at a party and making a scene when there was literally nothing problematic happening? It's not her baby. It's not even her family member. She doesn't know the family she started screaming about at all.
She was completely out of line. NTA. I know violence is bad, but I also feel like physical consequences are necessary in some situations. If this lady can't learn to shut her pie hole and quit spewing hate speech, then she deserves to get hit in the face. I have no sympathy for her. I do think it was great that you apologized to the two girls and treated them. The situation wasn't your fault, but it was kind of you to try to make sure their celebration wasn't ruined as much as you could.
If she does try to sue you, claim self-defense. Claim it hard.